Alright, hello everybody, this is Fireknight 3, and this is the predictions for the NFL Divisional matchups. So today we have four matchups that we're going to be looking forward to this weekend. Before I get to those, I will say that when it came to wild card, I went neutral. I got two of them correct and two of them incorrect. Um, so I don't know what I can really say in that case. I mean, with the Lions and the Seahawks, clearly the defense from the Seahawks just overwhelmed the Lions tenfold. So there's really nothing that they could do there. And as for the Raiders and Texans, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of a better matchup in the end. But you can't really be asking that when the team's using a third stringer and their second stringer wouldn't have exactly done that much better. So I guess I should have seen those two lose in the way that they did. Kind of sucked that every game this weekend was actually a blowout. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the divisional matchups. So anyhow, let's go ahead and see how I'm predicting these ones turn out. Atlanta Falcons and Seattle Seahawks. I'm predicting the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Seahawks, because they're not going to be happy to see Seattle after the controversial game. I've been saying that quite a few times already. And Seattle was able to stop Detroit because they don't have that reliable and offensive team, especially when it comes to the run game. But Atlanta is going to be a lot different. Their air game and their ground game is phenomenal. With Coleman and Freeman in the backfield, and with Jones, Hooper, Gabriel, and Sanu on the field, I'm sorry, Seattle's defense is going to be so overwhelmed. I just don't see them being able to beat them this time around. I mean, that's almost what happened last time anyway. And it's under the same circumstances because they were in Seattle last time they fought. So there's that much. And also, when it comes to Atlanta's defense, I don't expect that to be able to stop Russell Wilson and Seahawks. But I just feel the Falcons will be able to score more in response to anything the Seahawks might be able to pull. So that's what I'm predicting there. Um, when it comes to the New England Patriots and the Texans, I think just about everybody's in agreement that the Patriots are going to be able to beat the Texans. I mean, number one defense in the NFL, great, but this is not a team that even that's going to be able to stop. Even if they had J.G. Watt in for this game, it just would not be enough. Brady is too good, and they have Blunt as their running back. It's too much of a powerhouse, and their defense would just is going to shut Houston's offense down. So that's what I'm predicting there. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be a really, really, really good game, and I am in fact predicting that the Chiefs will be able to beat the Steelers. A lot of people would look at me and say, what are you talking about? The Steelers are an offensive powerhouse, which I agree with 100%. Their secondary, however, I don't believe is up to par. Up against Kansas City is a very meticulously well-oiled machine where their offense, even if it's slow to do so, can get to the end zone. And as far as their defense goes, that could actually present a pretty good problem up against Pittsburgh because they can stuff runs and they are good when it comes to air game. They actually showed that up against Atlanta when they beat them. And to top it all off, special teams, it's clear who has the advantage. And then finally, we have the big matchup that everybody's waiting to see: the Packers versus the Cowboys. And big shock here, I'm actually changing something that I've been predicting for almost the entire season. I think Green Bay has enough to beat Dallas Cowboys. And it's not just because I'm taking that from how they beat the Giants. I'm taking that because from what I saw how they beat us, they completely were able to figure out how to shut our offense down as far as the air game. And their defense is superb. But their offense is what's really going to give Dallas more problems than anything because Dallas may in fact have the run game between Prescott and Elliott, which is going to help them tenfold up against this type of a defense. But when it comes to Dallas' defense up against Aaron Rodgers and company, that is going to be a different story. Aaron Rodgers has too many targets. He has too good of a run game and the best line you can ask for at the moment. His line was able to protect him so well that up against the Cowboys, even with Sean Lee there is no way they're going to be able to really stop Aaron, especially once he starts getting hot midway through a game. So, that being the case, I think the Packers can actually beat the Cowboys this time around. And as far as conference matches, I say the Packers beat the Falcons because their defense can actually possibly shut down the Flying Falcons' offense, and there's no way Atlanta's defense is stopping Aaron Rodgers, period. Patriots and Chiefs, I would still say the Patriots would win hands down because, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a defense that can shut Kansas City down without problem. And New England's offense, too much for even their defense to handle. And then, of course, we would have the Super Bowl, and things still kind of don't change there. I would believe the Packers would lose in a very well-fought matchup against the Patriots, simply because there's just one team that's just a little bit more prepared than the other. But it should be a really good close game if that's the result. As far as everything else that's been going in the NFL, the big news, of course, that the Chargers are moving to LA. You will see that a new change in scheme in my chart once the Super Bowl is done and we get ready for the next season. So I will move them and name them LAC and name the Rams LAR. So that way it's all proper. And with the Raiders moving to Vegas, the fact that they look like they don't have a choice but to move, but thankfully they're going to stay in Oakland at least for 2 more years. I just don't like the fact that they really don't have any other option but to move. I want to see them stay in Oakland. That is their home. Why couldn't they find a financial solution? So, because soon enough it looks like everything's going to say that the Raiders are in fact going to be moving to Vegas, but not yet. They're going to wait the 2 years and stay in Oakland until the stadium is built. I appreciate that much. So, that being the case, I'll keep Oakland where it is on the chart, and then once the move is official, that they actually go to Las Vegas, then I'll move them as LV in the chart. It's just sad to think about, but what can you do? So those are my predictions at the current moment. I did say that I was going to do the predictions or anything else that I have to say about the other teams as far as coaching stuff like that goes. Honestly, at the current moment, I'm not gonna waste too much time about that. I'll just say this more than anything. The teams that I see that especially need help in finding something, probably more than anything, they'll find it in the draft. The teams that I would call out would be the Bears, the Browns, clearly, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars, the Rams especially are going to need it as well. The Saints are definitely going to be looking for something in defense. I know that for a fact. The Jets especially are going to need some help there as well. And the 49ers. Those are the teams that I believe are going to be the most hungry during both the draft and both free agency. And free agency has a lot of good team members out there, a lot of good players that could benefit so many teams. So in the end, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, these are my predictions for these 8 teams that are left. And I'm glad that I did this before the game started. I'm actually glad I did this on a Saturday because I wanted to wait for all news to come out just in case anything happens. Because, I mean, it would have been wrong for me to do so on Monday and then all of a sudden say, well, in actually prime example, oh my goodness, I literally just had his name. Jordy Nelson, wide receiver for the Packers. The fact that he's going to be considered out versus the Cowboys. I mean, I knew it was going to happen the way he got hit in that game, but if it turned out that he was going to in fact make it, that would have strengthened my argument the Packers would have won, but it would have been wrong for me to say anything because I may have mentioned his name somewhere. So that's what I'm going to be doing for these playoffs. I'm going to wait until either the Friday before or the Saturday of the playoff games in order to mention my predictions. So that's what I have for all you guys right now. And in the meantime, let's see what happens. Hopefully my predictions go well. And in the meantime, this is Fireknight 3 signing out.